Ready.
All right, we're hot. What up, boys?
What up?
Hola.
Let's get just a quick mic check in here. Mic check, mic check.
Check, check, check.
Michael Keaton.
Nice, nice. So full disclosure, Marvin knows. I don't know if you know, Dusty. Last episode was scuffed, unfortunately. I don't know what happened.
No, you didn't put it in the chat.
No, I forgot to do it because I got frustrated. It was just like an encoder error. I don't really know what happened. I got to work. I think I could extract the audio from it. So if worst case scenario, we'll have a audio only episode.
Yep, just like the first episode.
Yeah.
Audio only. Go check that out, folks.
Yeah,
See how far we've come.
Them's are the issues when
the
doing this
Batman.
stuff. Yeah, it was the Batman. It's been so long since then, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of
Has it?
crazy. Yeah,
Been
over a year. I have to go back and listen to some of the early episodes, see how far we've come in terms of like quality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, some of those early ones were pretty good, but some of them probably weren't. I know I was a little inebriated one of those Christmas ones.
That's all right. But yeah, so episode 55 today. Should have been 56, but it is what it is. Hey, it happens, you know? Hey,
That's right.
even the Always Sunny podcast is now taking a break. They made a post today saying the Always Sunny podcast is taking a break for whatever reason. They didn't really explain why. I'm probably assuming it has to do with the strike. The multiple strikes.
Yeah, probably.
Solidarity.
Yeah.
The strike is getting real.
Oh, yeah.
Ron Perlman is like Punisher on these motherfucking executives, bro.
I watched that video.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, and pay them folks.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
How was everybody's week?
It was cool. Played a lot of board games.
Oh, yeah, me too. I was with you.
Yeah.
Hey,
We played
Marvin.
A lot of Clue, a lot of Monopoly. I think I got the most wins in Monopoly.
I got to say, Marvin, I'm really feeling the Yankees hat.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
I got all the teams. No, I
New
don't. I
York
just-
represent. You're a little...
I don't. What?
Well, I was going to say, you're younger than me, and I don't know if this was
Yeah.
a trend in like my age group specifically,
Uh-huh.
but everybody I knew growing up had like the craziest fitted baseball cap collections. It was like
Yeah.
it was like really popular. Like every hat.
Yeah. You got to have multiple.
They used to like match outfits with their hat.
Yeah.
But were caps as popular like when you were growing up as they were when I was?
No, it kind of resurfaced. Like fitteds they've circled back into the mainstream, I would say.
Now, keep in mind, my generation started the flat brim sticker remaining on the bottom of it trend,
Really?
which I hate.
Yeah, I hate that fucking trend.
I don't mind the brim, but the sticker's fucking stupid.
No, nothing.
Yeah, I'm
Gotta take that shit
like you. Wear the fucking hat the way God intended, you know?
Yeah,
You
I like
curve
the
the
curve
shit.
though.
Fillers.
Yeah, the curve is nice. I don't like the flat. And then the flat, you got to have a big ass size
Yeah.
because it doesn't fit right.
Right.
And then you got all this weird extra space where it looks like you're a fucking little kid wearing a hat.
The flat
Yeah,
brims,
you
I
can't-
will say, look better backwards. Now,
Maybe.
I was a backwards hat kind of guy.
Okay.
So, yeah. But my group of friends, I don't know if this was a trend elsewhere in the world, but I know my group of friends specifically, we started a little bit of a trend of our own. We would wear fitteds with like a letter that would denote the first letter of our names.
Oh, that's cool.
So my friend Perry wore like a Pittsburgh Pirates cap a lot of the time. I wore a
That's pretty funny.
Detroit Tigers cap.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of what we did.
Nice. I just like the ones that look cool.
Yeah.
And,
Yankees,
Yeah.
you don't get much cooler than the Yankees dynasty team, you know?
Yankees, yeah, you got to have at least a Yankees hat.
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple others. I had the Sox one before on stream on the
Sock?
on the
Oh,
episode.
yeah, okay.
Socks.
I
White
thought you were
socks.
talking
Yep.
about like actual socks on your feet. I was like, we've never seen your feet, Marvin. You selling feet pics out here?
Nah. Well, you know, you guys wear them for your first initial, but there's like a lot of gangs in LA that wear hats based on the gang that they're in.
Yeah,
It's a big thing too.
that I know. Gotta be careful.
Mhm.
Get fucking
You really
whacked.
got to be careful.
Dusty, you
Turn
much?
that brim to the wrong side.
Oh yeah, then you're fucked. You're taking a bullet. Dusty, you much of a fitted guy? Never really. I don't think I've seen you wear fitted.
No, I don't really have too many fitted. I used to have a bunch of hats, but I slowly.
He's a
cleaned
beanie
out my
guy.
collection.
He is a beanie guy.
I got a big ass head, and my hair is fucking thick as
Toboggan.
fuck. So if I cut my hair off, the hat doesn't fit. If I grow my hair out, the hat fits, or vice versa. So I just
if I grow my hair for too long, maybe 2 weeks, my hat probably just won't even fit.
Do you guys remember when like the trucker caps were popular? Those Ashton Kutcher's doing.
Those are coming back.
They still are.
What was that brand that everybody? Von Dutch. That's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, hated
those
that
are coming
shit.
back. Actually, that brand.
Are they?
I've seen. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how like clothing trends like circle back?
Yeah.
Like I think I've seen like super baggy jeans are starting to come back.
Baggy jeans are coming back. Yeah.
Bell bottoms and shit. Yeah.
That's
A
wild.
lot of boot cut jeans out there.
Are there?
Yeah.
Interesting. How do these things start though? Is it like musicians and movie stars? Is that?
Usually rappers. To be honest, rappers kind of.
I think Jay-Z
most
started
things.
like the fitted craze, kind of, or at least the Yankee
I don't
cap
know.
specifically.
Probably.
He was a big Yankee cap guy.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to play some board games this week. Talk about things coming back. We are down bad for games to play. We got nothing. So I don't know, Dusty, if you've been aware. Well, you've actually been fucking MIA. I don't know what you're doing. But we've been playing fucking old board games on Steam. We've got Clue, Battleship, Monopoly. Monopoly's fun as fuck. You got to play with us one night.
Yeah, I saw you
Monopoly's
guys in there
great.
the other day. I didn't have time to jump in, so.
What have you been
But I
doing?
saw you all in there.
You don't even fucking respond to us in Discord anymore. You're just like completely off the grid.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm the one that posts stuff in there most often because I post news and shit.
You post news and trailers, but then you don't respond to anything else anybody says.
Oh yeah, you guys were talking about.
They don't got time for the games. Business only.
Yeah, I've been catching up on shows and movies. You know, work's been busy, obviously. So.
What you been watching?
I watched. What the hell have I been watching? I finished watching. I watched The Flash today.
Oh yeah, what'd you think of
it? It was good. I liked it. There's some interesting stuff. So that joke right out the gate, where he's like,
I'm familiar. I know that sex exists, but I've never experienced it.
He saves all the babies, and he's like, this could be this psychologically scarring event. You should seek mental health. Justice League is not good for that.
Yeah,
that immolating joke. But I don't know. There's a little bit of doublespeak, like Bruce Wayne. He's talking about the scars make us who we are, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then he's like, don't let it define you. And then later he's like, it does define me. And I'm like, well,
I
confuses me.
Well, I think
Michael,
that was
what
the
are you
message.
talking about? Yeah.
And they're also different Bruce Waynes, remember?
Sure.
But both Bruce Waynes sort of echoed the same sentiment.
Right.
But I'm curious, did you, because I liked it, as you guys know, we talked about it a little bit. I thought I was going to fucking despise it, but I liked it. Did you like it, like overall, or what?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's not the greatest movie.
No, it's a good movie though. Yeah, I like the messaging of it. It was fascinating. The story of
definitely
what he's trying to do.
Carried by Michael Keaton being there. I thought he was great.
Yeah, he was.
Like he still got it. He's still the best Batman.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not the best movie ever, but I was entertained pretty thoroughly. And then at the end, like I even cried at that scene with his mother at the end.
Yep, that's a hard one. I mean, your mom's still around, so if they're not, it's a little. Touch the base a little bit more, but yeah,
for sure. And
it's a good scene.
But even though the movie was like not super, I mean, like we talk about it all the time. Like, I want a movie to make me feel some shit, and that movie did that, right? So
absolutely,
I think overall I enjoyed it. I haven't been watching shit. I'll tell you guys what, I've been struggling. I'm in one of those like funks where like you just kind of just don't want to watch anything. You ever get like that?
Right.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did watch Old School the other night, classic early 2000s film from Todd Phillips.
And the one with Queen Latifah?
No,
that's Bringing Down the House or something.
Such a very different movie.
It's like the same shit, isn't it?
I don't know. Old School's about a bunch of guys who start a fraternity.
Oh,
Like they're older men though. They're like in their 30s.
maybe not the same thing.
So two things that I took away from that movie, and I hadn't seen it in a very long time, but it's one of my favorite comedies. Obviously, it's Will Ferrell, Luke Wilson, and Vince Vaughn.
Yes.
Great movie.
You can't go wrong with that movie. It is hilarious. You can watch it a million times.
Yeah, it's
But
so fucking
You said
funny.
you've never seen it?
No, I don't think so.
Add it to the list. The ever-growing list. But I took two takeaways from that movie, and I know it by heart, like word for word.
Yeah.
But there's a scene in the beginning. I'm not going to say the word because, this is going on YouTube and stuff, and it's a bad word. But in the beginning of the movie, Mitch, the character played by Luke Wilson, gets into a cab, Marvin, and his seatbelt is like torn in half, and he says to the driver, he goes, "My seatbelt is broken. What do you suggest I do about it?" And the driver turns around and goes, "I suggest you stop being a F word that is a bad word towards gay people." And it's fucking hilarious, and I understand that it's not a good word, but the thing that I took, it's like so crazy how different movies were back then to now, because I don't think we'll ever hear that word in a movie ever again. And probably rightfully so, but it's just crazy how like much different things you can get away with back then versus now.
Yeah, well, we won't hear it in that
Cabby
context.
is a great actor too, by the way. He's in some good stuff.
Yeah. What'd you say, Marvin? The context?
I said we won't hear it in that context. I think they said it in like Moonlight.
Oh, I mean, they'll say, it'll probably be for like, it's historic purposes, right? As like hate speech, not as like a joke.
Which is like,
yeah.
Whatever.
So that was my first takeaway.
It'll go away for a while and it'll probably come back again.
My second takeaway is all these movies when like, this is a movie about adult men who start a fraternity for a reason, but they're in their early 30s in this movie, like the characters. And in my head, I'm like, I'm in my late 30s. I don't have a fucking house. I don't own a fucking, like, a fucking electronics store empire like Vince Vaughn's character. Like,
right.
Earmuffs.
Yeah. So I just think it's funny when movies like depict characters like, I don't know.
It's usually out of touch.
The age thing was just weird to me. I was like, God damn. I was like, early 30s? This guy's a fucking, like, property lawyer. This guy's a like, it was weird. Like, I don't know anybody who's that successful my age, really, except for like maybe like one friend of mine. Right. So I don't know. That was just kind of funny.
Working at a Fortune 5 company in my 20s.
Yeah. But you're different. I don't know.
I was working at a fucking burrito factory or some shit.
Factory. You just
Not
looked
a burrito,
down like
tortilla. It was a tortilla plant.
You were making tortillas, bro?
Yep.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
But I was just putting them in boxes. They were already made.
That's fair. Hey, honest living.
But I would always get to smell it all day, and that was cool. It smells pretty good.
So
terrible job though. Minimum wage, terrible.
That's fair. That's really all I've watched over the last 2 weeks since we've talked.
I've been trying to watch Walking Dead.
The new one or the old one?
Well, I was trying to catch up from what I left off at.
Ugh. Why would you do that to yourself?
And I think I'm just going to watch recaps so that I can watch the new season. Because apparently the new season is the best Walking Dead season.
You're a big recap guy.
Yeah.
Who's
Big
in the
on
current
recaps.
season? Is this the Negan and
Maggie collab.
Maggie. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that could be a good one.
It's just Walking Dead was filmed the way shows were filmed before they started being very like cinematic. So it's like it's weird going back to watch Walking Dead. It's like it's kind of a chore to watch it almost. So
yeah, that's kind of what I was saying with like Sopranos, right? It's like my Sopranos argument. Nick doesn't agree with me at all. We've had this argument recently. I don't know if you. Well, I think you agree with me, but like Sopranos is a great show, but it's dated in the sense that like TV is different now.
yeah, in that sense, yeah.
And you could
Doesn't
really
make it
tell.
any worse.
Yeah,
Because
for
it's
sure.
an amazing show.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's a valid critique for sure.
It's not even a critique. It's just like it is.
Observation.
It is what it is. Yeah, it's just TV is different now. TV is way more cinematic, which is why when shows are shot in a more episodic way, it's actually very jarring and stands out because most TV now is not shot that way. It's shot as like one long movie, and you're just watching it episodically. But when I say episodic television, it's when like there's like a fucking cliffhanger at the end of the episode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because things are shot, TV's done now with the intention of like making you binge watch, kind of.
Right.
For the most part. Speaking of episodes of TV, what are you guys thinking? Are we liking fucking Secret Invasion? Think we're all caught up? Are you caught up, Dusty? Episode 4?
Yeah.
Most recent one?
Yeah, it's great. We could talk about it. I told you I thought episode 4 was a little short though.
It was the shortest episode so far. It was like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And they do that in all their shows, and I actually hate it. Because they get the story going, and then it's almost like a fucking speed bump in the season. Because it's 6 episodes. So why are you going to have one that's like 15 minutes shorter than all that? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense.
That was a banger episode. Yeah, we got a lot of information.
Yeah.
Colonel, what's the name, is a fucking Skrull.
James Rhodey.
Brody, yeah. He's a fucking Skrull.
Who could have guessed?
So Fury didn't know I was asking that early on. Does Fury know that his wife is a Skrull? Found out that he did not until this episode.
He knew.
No.
Yeah.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he knew from when they met in the 90s.
Yes.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pick that up.
So Fury, basically, what they're showing is they're flipping back between the 90s, which takes place like in and around the events of Captain Marvel, when he first became aware of the Skrull. And then Fury used the Skrull as like his operatives to help him rise through the ranks of S.H.I.E.L.D. So by the time...
So the question she asked him after all of it is, she's like, would you have still loved me if I would have not changed?
Yeah.
Meaning if I had not changed into this person that I am, that was the dying woman who I asked if I could take her body to fall in love with you.
Yeah.
If I would have just stayed as, a Skrull, would you have still loved me? And he's like, I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, he knew she was a Skrull, but the thing that they don't really explain is there's a brief scene.
Why would he just go along with it and never question it? That doesn't make any sense.
They don't explain it. There was a brief scene in that restaurant where they kept meeting, where he asks her how she, like, who she is, like who the fucking body is, and she doesn't respond to him. That's why in this episode she finally explains it to him, like why she picked this body. But the thing that they don't explain, which doesn't make sense, so I understand why you would have thought that he didn't know, is that, like, why did she even put on the facade to begin with? There's like this question of like, would he have loved her if she was just is it based on looks or what? Like, would he have loved her if she was just looking like a fucking lizard person or whatever the fuck?
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff that the show is doing that they're just telling you things and they're not really explaining anything, and it's what I really don't like about it.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like how dumb. I think the Skrulls look fucking dumb in their natural form. I don't like it at all. I know it's like practical, like makeup or something instead of CGI, but I think it looks really stiff and it looks pretty trash to me when they get close to them.
Yeah, I don't think
like the way it looks at all.
I don't actually think it looks great either.
Yeah,
and I didn't think it looked great in Captain Marvel. It looks like a little cartoonish.
Oh yeah, see, I didn't see it, so I didn't get to witness it there.
In the comic books, they're kind of they almost look like goblins. They look like really they look a lot like Green Goblin is what they look like. But I don't know. That's not great. The show is not bad, and I'm enjoying it, but I don't really understand why it exists currently. And really, there's a problem with scale. And we talked about this last week. Ryan Airy from Screen Crush was talking about this too. Like, it has like a scaling problem because the story that they've established is like this vast fucking like human extermination level thing, but
which usually calls for the Avengers.
But they're treating it like it's not that. And everything feels very small in comparison. Like the set pieces are small. The fucking locations are very small. It's not
besides this last episode, right?
Well, even that, like they had mist. That whole scene was foggy, and like the fog rolls in as soon as the action starts. And I bet you they did that to save money on CGI, so they didn't have to have a CGI background. Like I guarantee.
That's true, yeah.
So I don't know. That's my big problem with it. This doesn't feel, and it doesn't have to be exactly like the comic books where there's like a fucking alien invasion and a war breaks out. Like we've already dealt with that in the movies. So I get that part of it, but then it's like, well, why do the secret invasion? Why tease us with like, oh, fucking humans could be extinct? It's like, we know they're not going to go extinct. We know Fury's going to win because we know he's in fucking the Marvels. We've seen the trailers. It's like, what's the point here?
Right.
And then the other thing that I don't really understand thus yet, and I hope they explain it, they gave a little snippet of it, but I think it was a cheap excuse, which is the question you just said. Like, where the fuck are the Avengers? It doesn't make any sense. Now,
this level event, yeah.
Well, now, obviously, the Avengers don't exist anymore. It seems like they have parted ways after the events of Endgame, okay?
Right.
And probably they all each have their own individual reasons. Wanda went fucking crazy and did whatever she did in WandaVision. Right. But like...
She's buried in rubble, isn't she?
Yeah, at the end of Doctor Strange, she's doing some shit, yeah. No, she got out of it. She was like alive or something. I don't even remember.
Yeah, somehow.
But, well, she's magic, Marvin. But, like, you know, like, where the fuck is Sam? He's Captain America now. He's not fucking showing up to this shit. Where's Bucky? Like, I know Bucky was, like, mending wounds and, like, he, you know, trying to...
I agree with you that, like, an attack on the president would have alerted all of them.
Yeah. Like, Banner exists. What the fuck is he doing?
This is Nick Fury trying to clean up his own mess. Mm-hmm. And a lot of what we've seen from Nick Fury throughout all the phases is we don't know what he does or had. Like, we're actually getting to see.
This is a
what
peek behind the curtain for sure. Yeah.
So this is definitely what this show is about. And I love this because it's a spy movie and I love that shit. But
yeah,
I can see how, like, there are certain instances where something happens in the show and you're like, okay, well, yeah. Like, if it came across the radio that the president was under attack.
Right.
One of the superheroes.
Yeah, one of them would have showed up. Yeah, whether Fury asked to or not. Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. And again, like, you know, they made the little excuse. Fury was like, "Well, if the Avengers show up, that like I can't risk the Skrulls getting their DNA." It's like they could shapeshift just by looking at you. So it's like,
yeah, but they're also using the
that's for the
DNA to.
But that's for the deep undercover shit, and Fury doesn't know that they're creating
for
Super
the extremist
Skrulls.
Stuff. Yeah,
yeah, but Fury doesn't know they're making Super Skrulls.
He knows now.
Well, yeah. So when he made the excuse though to Rhodey in episode 2, it was purely based on the fact that, like, yeah, I don't want them.
The speculation that they could do something like that, and he was right because they are.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. My critique is not.
That's him being like, these motherfuckers could double cross us. Don't trust them.
My criticism is less about the fact that the Avengers aren't there and more so about the fact of, like, well, where is it going? Like, okay, so we get the heroes are separated. Obviously, it's going to lead to probably Sam forming a new team in Captain America. What's the new title for it? Not the Brave New World. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Sam's going to form a new team. And I'm sure during this interim, without the Avengers, there's going to be a young Avengers established. We know they're pushing for that real hard. We got Thunderbolts coming. Like, I get the setup for it all, but I don't feel it really. And that's probably an issue of phase 4 rather, being disjointed and bad. Because Civil War is the movie that does the same thing. It's like, this is how the Avengers break up, and now they're weakened when Thanos shows up. And Thanos fucking wrecks shop because the Avengers are not together. So,
well, and I don't.
But that lands and works because you witness, like, the breakup. This is just like the show is telling you, like, well, the Avengers aren't around, but nobody knows why. I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me.
I mean, how much more Nick Fury do you think we're gonna get in the MCU?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, this feels like it seems like Marvel is giving the opportunity to a lot of their main cast now who have been around for the long haul.
Yeah.
Just say goodbye. Uh-huh. So maybe this, because I mean, they kind of did Scarlett dirty with her whole fucking movie. They, shoehorned in Miss Marvel and she kind of got screwed around with the whole COVID thing, did the whole lawsuit. But I think we're getting a Nick Fury show because I don't know that Nick Fury is going to be around that much longer. Like, he might show up in a couple more movies, but I don't see him being around for another 10 years. Maybe, but
I think that's part. I mean, we also can't forget he's fucking 74 years old. Like, he's not going to be able to do this much longer.
Sure.
And I probably agree with what you're saying. I think this show probably thematically is supposed to be like, this is the architect of the thing you just
all of it
wrapped up with Endgame. Like, now you're seeing I think they're giving us a Nick Fury that kind of lost faith in the heroes because the blip happened. They keep mentioning him after the blip. You were different after the blip. This after the blip. He was broken after the blip. Like, it's been mentioned like
Abandoned his wife after the blip.
Yeah, it's been mentioned like it's been mentioned like 5 times. So it's like they're presenting a Fury that is like kind of lost faith in the heroes. I get is kind of what it seems like. Which I wouldn't
Nick
really.
Fury's never really. But no, he has faith in the individual and the team when they're right, but he always doubts the individual as well. Like,
no, because
he's a skeptic to the heart. He's the spy of spies. He's Nick Fury.
Yeah, but the Avengers was his like he had a lot of faith in them. If you remember back in the Avengers, the first one, like he's speaking to the fucking council, and he's like, and they say like, how do you know that they'll like be able to work together? He's like, because they'll have to. Like, he had faith in these people. And I think what they're showing us is like that the team broke up in Civil War, allowed Thanos to fucking show up and blip the fucking universe. I think he in this show is like, oh man, maybe I put my trust and faith into the wrong people. Now I got to handle this myself. I think that's what they're showing, but it's like very.
Well, I mean, he did fail though. Like, it took Phil Coulson dying.
Well, they all
before
failed.
The Avengers actually got together. It's not like Nick Fury was successful in his Avengers initiative. It was failing. They were mad at each other and fighting.
Yeah, but he knew that they would come together when the chips were down, and they had to, and they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they kind of didn't in Infinity
And that's
War.
his faith in the idea, not necessarily the people putting
That's
it together.
fair.
He's still going to be a skeptical spy
That's fair.
because he like his report on Tony Stark, narcissistic, self-inflating ego, like,
right.
all that bullshit. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I'm enjoying it. So.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say about it is like Rhodey being a Skrull. That's fucking whack, Marvel. It's so fucking obvious that he was going to be the Skrull, and it's like, you can't come up with something more like ballsy and creative than that. Like, give me a fucking break. The second I saw he was in this show, like, we all fucking knew he was going to be the Skrull.
Yeah.
So
you think so?
Yeah, 100%. We talked about it when the trailer came out. You don't remember?
I don't remember.
It's so obvious. He's the only like OG in this show other than Maria Hill who
died first episode.
Yeah, she died first episode. Like, okay, so what's his name was a Skrull? Fucking Agent Ross. Big whoop. Nobody gives a fuck about him. And like, it was just obvious. It was Rhodey. It was always going to be Rhodey. There was never going to be anybody else other than Rhodey, because he's the only character that is been around for a long time. So it'll have like kind of a woe factor, but also he's the safe choice because he was always just a side character. He's not one of the main guys.
Right.
That is the biggest problem with the show, is that
there's no stakes.
They're limited to the characters that they can cast.
Mm-hmm.
And you automatically know, because of the limited cast, who exactly is going to be a Skrull.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, yeah. I mean, there's going to have to be some big reveals, and these are the only people in the show. So some of these motherfuckers are Skrulls. Like, like Dan said, it's pretty obvious.
And that, I think, is the ultimate problem with the show, is the stakes. Like the stakes, the stakes they present to you are huge based on like the event that's happening. But at the same time, the stakes are small because it's not really affecting anything big. Does that make sense?
They're off. This is true. They just
reason
didn't
why
go all out. They should have just went all out if they're going to do this type of event.
Well, and that begs
Ryan Airy hit a good point. He's like, nobody, I mean, who really cares about Echo and
nobody,
Agatha and
nobody,
whatever it is. Like, if you had taken those 2 budgets and put it all in this show,
or
it would have been amazing.
Imagine.
Or a movie.
It would have been amazing. I'd rather see a show, but
they're making.
I want 8 hours of this stuff.
Like, they're making shows based on characters that A, nobody gives a fuck about, and B, like, Agatha is being made because her song like kind of popped off on the internet when WandaVision was like out. They like immediately were like, we need an Agatha show right now.
You jump on a meme and then it kind of fizzles out, and you've already dedicated the money to it. And
well, listen, aside from his extremely problematic things he said recently, Bob Iger is seemingly coming in and like slowing down and identifying the fact that, like, the problem currently is that there's like too much content. I think he said that.
We're developing too many characters. We just need to develop the right characters right.
Right.
So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, as of right now, I'm enjoying the show, but like I could kind of take it or leave it. I'm not like in love with it. And I think the roadie thing was dumb. Now, what will be interesting to see, and I hope they do that, is that clearly they're not going to make it that... This is the other thing, too. Stakes and boldness is lacking. They're not going to make it that Rhodey was always a fucking Skrull from the time we met him in the first Iron Man.
There's probably going to be a flashback explaining when the switch happened.
It's going to be the switch happened after Endgame. 100%.
His behavior is a night and day different.
Yeah, it's going to be that he was switched after Endgame. 100%.
He's a pretentious douchebag in this show.
Yeah, and he's a female Skrull too. If you saw the way she had like the towel in the shower after the shower scene, but what's hurting me inside is because like they could make the Rhodey reveal like a really interesting and like kind of heartbreaking thing, right? Because Rhodey and Tony were friends from college. We know that from the Iron Man movies. So if they made it so that Rhodey was switched prior to Endgame, that means real Rhodey is in the fucking prison somewhere getting his fucking brain scanned or whatever the fuck. And he doesn't know that Tony is dead. So when real Rhodey is returned into the world, then he's like, what the fuck happened? Like, I was gone for this whole time. There was a blip and Tony died and Steve is fucking 900 years old now. Like, what the fuck happened while I was gone? That would be super interesting and like really good drama to deal with in his show, Armor Wars that's coming, or the movie or whatever the fuck they decided to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to do that. They're going to make it that, he was switched after Endgame and he's been in prison and now he has to come back and deal with the fallout of him being gone because Skrull Rhodey was certainly not keeping track of all of Tony's tech. And now real Rhodey has to go around and like clean it up. And that's going to be Armor Wars. And that's fucking stupid and boring. And they're going to, like, I don't know, just whack.
Yep.
Mid.
I understand that. Yeah.
I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. It's just like none of these things is just whatever. But yeah, I don't know. That's really all I've been watching though. So
yeah.
All that to say,
Silo's finished now. I might start watching that.
Yeah.
I thought about that, and I think I'm gonna watch that show From. I think it's 2 seasons deep now. That's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you watched Lucky Hank yet?
No. I actually forgot that show existed. That's the one with
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk, but did Vince Gilligan make it? No,
I don't think so. No, he's making the show with what's her name, Leah Seahorn.
Yes. Okay, Seahorn. Yeah, that's a different show.
Yep. I finally finished Shadow and Bone.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Yeah, it's good. It's an interesting show.
That's the Netflix one, right?
Yeah. I'm also, The Blacklist is over. Shout out to Owen. He's a big fan of that show. It's 10 seasons. So James Spader as a criminal / spy working as an informant for the FBI. Really good show.
I cannot be getting into a fucking show that's 10 seasons deep. I'll tell you
Blacklist?
what.
And it's network, so it's like 24 episodes a season or something.
Hell no.
So.
Yeah, I can't be doing that shit.
And this one is it's really good out the gate, and then it gets kind of like Walking Dead and all the other shows. It's got some ups and downs in the mid-season, then it kind of had a lull. But the last season was really good. Like they finished this season, the series, with I think some pretty good honor and prestige. It was a good send-off. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I've been watching it the whole time, so was happy to see it go the way it did.
Hey, as long as you enjoyed it, that's what counts. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, that is a long-running show.
It's a lot of episodes, and there's one spinoff that's like 8 episodes or something. Elizabeth Keene's husband. What was his name? Tom Keene.
Is it hour episodes too? 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was an hour block with commercials.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of big name actors though. I mean, Lance Reddick, Stacy Keach, Brian Dennehy, Rachel Brosnahan was in it. Anthony Kerrigan.
Nice.
Fisher Stevens. Good show. Kristen Ritter.
Hey, I might have nothing to watch soon because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike and basusically the whole industry just imploding. So maybe I'll have to go. Maybe I'll have no choice at some point to watch it.
That's right.
None of us are going to have anything to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got for us this week, Dusty? how are things going?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about it last week that the publicists were getting prepped for the actor strike, and it happened.
Yep.
On Friday, SAG-AFTRA, July 14th, their strike started. Now, they didn't, technically, I mean, I guess they are in a strike. They just let the contract expire.
Mm-hmm.
They're still in negotiations, but I think they're standing in solidarity with the writers. They want the writers to get some more money, it seems like. And they're also complaining about AI because I think one of the postulations set forth by the AMTP or whatever they wanted to do is they want to use AI to take people's likenesses so they can maybe use them later if they need to be. So instead of you spending all this money on de-aging people, let the AI do it. But I don't think the actors they don't feel like they're getting compensated at all, if at all. I don't think so. That's one of the big reasons that they're striking, but also in solidarity with the writers. So yeah, I mean, there's 11,000 authors in the WGA, and there's about 160,000 performers in SAG. I think I was looking at the numbers. The average actor makes about $28 an hour if you do the math.
Wow.
The highest actor in 2022 was The Rock. He made $270 million.
Woo!
That's a little bit more than $28 an hour. But,
a little bit.
Yeah, it's
just
and an economist said that this could have a $4 billion economic impact, all the way across the globe, because not even studios in Europe and Australia and shit that aren't affected, but like the business dealings that Hollywood does with them is going to affect them. So
I was talking about this last night actually with my friend. As you guys know, she works in TV and film industry, and we were just saying how really what the sad thing is it's not affecting people like The Rock or fucking Tom Hanks or any of these people. It's affecting the little people who work in the industry who do all the fucking grunt work, the fucking producers, the writers, the fucking the people who work on sets and do all the stuff that literally gets movies made. It's not, but the problem is all these actors who pretty much are probably running the shit and making the decisions in terms of SAG and all these things. They're fine. They're chilling. They're millionaires. Doesn't matter. So it's basically two groups of millionaires arguing with one another while the little guy just fucking loses their homes and fucking livelihoods and all this shit. So that's really the shame of it all. But that's, how things go here.
Yeah. Before the SAG strike, it was estimated that the WA strike was causing California about $30 million a day in lost revenue.
Good.
And so now that everything is just shut down because the actor strike, it's going to jump up into the billions before too long.
That's crazy.
But thank God, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
The Chosen, which is Dallas Jenkins' Jesus biopic. It was given an exception to continue filming because they are independent enough and they only have a couple weeks left to film this last, I think they're in their fourth season or something. It's a show. They were given exceptions. So yeah,
it's a show about Jesus.
The Chosen, the show about Jesus was given an exception. They're going to get to finish their filming so they can finish it up. So thank God, Dan.
Yeah, no, we needed that. Is this
We're
Jesus?
gonna be watching this when we run out of stuff to watch.
There's a show called The Chosen One on Netflix called Jesus Christ. It's Jesus Christ Returns to Earth, where he takes on the Antichrist
it's not on Netflix.
in a final battle to save humankind. This shit sounds sick. So that's the part of religion I like the fucking high fantasy fucking battle between good and evil. I fuck all the other shit.
Jesus is on a velociraptor with a machine gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, speaking of Jesus and religious people and all that fun stuff, should we watch that movie that's being fucking it's all over the internet right now with Jim Caviezel?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it looks like a good movie.
It definitely is not a good movie. Not for the reasons the internet is saying. It's just, it looks terrible. There's a movie, Marvin.
Sound of Freedom?
Yeah, Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom, yeah. It's been hitting the box office. Beat no. It was number 1 on Independence Day, and then it's like number 2 right now.
Marvin, you know how woke movies get hate bombed by like crazy people?
Yeah.
This is getting the opposite. It's getting bombed by crazy people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the media is saying that it's a QAnon conspiracy theory to tell a movie about a true story.
Well, the guy who wrote it is literally in QAnon, I think. And
you think?
Well, no, I'm pretty sure it's one of the writers. I don't
literally in it, I think.
No, it's either the writer or the director. So the part that I think is which one of those two it is, but I know for sure it's one of them who's in. And Jim Caviezel's a fucking maniac too. He believes in fucking like the rich people that are like fucking sucking like stem cells out of babies and all that bullshit. Like these are not normal people that made this movie. So while on the surface level you would say, yeah, this is a movie about human trafficking and all that, it's like not that at all. It's about human trafficking, but then all the other conspiratorial shit that like fucking
it's thrown in there.
Yeah. That like fucking Bill Clinton eats babies and shit. Like I don't know.
It's a Michael Moore movie for the alt-right. Is that what you're telling me?
Michael Moore makes documentaries, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, maybe we should do this just to get a little bit of fucking just to capture some of the fucking hype on it, but I don't even want to deal with that shit. Mia Sorvino's in it though. She's good. Jim Caviezel's a terrible actor. That's why I know this movie's bad.
You didn't like the show he was in with the AI? That show was ahead of its time. It was pretty good. I
don't think I've seen it.
What's that called?
I don't think I've seen anything Jim
Person of
Caviezel's
Interest.
Oh, I remember that show.
That was network, 2011 to 2016. He was like that was an AI shit ahead of its time. That there was a computer that was telling them like these people are going to commit crimes, and they were like, well, if we hand this over to the wrong people, they're going to abuse it. So it was this small gang of people that were.
I don't think he's the best actor, but he's been in some.
Say it was terrible.
Yeah, he's not good. He's been in some good movies though. That's the difference. He was in that movie. We've talked about it. Me and Dusty talked about maybe making you watch it. I think this is the movie. Nope, never mind. Different movie. But he's been in Frequency. Frequency is a good movie. It's from 2000. It's with him and Dennis Quaid. And it's like some sort of like kind of like time traveling movie. Remember that one, Dusty?
Yep, I do.
That's a good movie. He's in Thin Red Line, which is like a good war movie. He's been in some good stuff, but Passion of the Christ is dog shit. Not just because of the content, it's just not a good movie. I mean, I saw that shit when it came out in theaters.
Did you actually? Why would you see that in theaters?
Because I think it was because my grandmother, she's like my dad's mom, she was like super religious. She used to take me like to church with her all the time. And and I think they had like a church outing to go see the movie. And like she took me with her.
Nice.
And then there was like all the rumors of like, oh, Jim Caviezel got struck by lightning when he was on the cross. Like, yeah, okay, bro. Shut the fuck up. Anyhow, what else you got for us in the news there, Dusty?
Well, we're still on the strike. That's probably all we're going to talk about before too long. There's not going to be much news.
We're going to be like
Bob
the fucking...
Iger.
Hang on. I got to make a joke. We're going to be like the fucking... The news anchors in Batman, the 89 one, when they couldn't wear makeup.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to be all haggard looking because there's just like actually no news to cover.
To watch.
Yeah.
I just watched Sopranos for the 6th time.
Watch Breaking Bad for the 19th time.
So Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, just renewed his contract through 2026. And so he's
chilling. Yeah, he's good.
He came out and said that the demands are not realistic for the WGA and the SAG.
What was his bonus for the year? Like 20-something million?
Yeah.
Bonus.
And he was and when he got...
But that's not realistic. Okay.
And when he came back, he was supposed to be a transitory position to sort of like usher in the next CEO. And now he's just signed on for
He's like, nah.
Yeah. I was going to make a joke, but it's distasteful.
Kevin Feige and his co-partner D. Esposito sent out a staff email talking about the strike. It was a lot of, oh, we love you guys, blah, blah, blah. We can all hope that a new agreement will be finalized soon and we can resume work, get back to work. But it was, mostly political. You're not necessarily political, but, corporate speak is what it was. Everybody's doing great. We love you. We support everybody. We hope we can get back to work. God bless.
Type
deal.
I don't know him, but he seems like a fucking good dude who cares about the product he puts out, obviously. And I think and I think he cares about his actors and stuff. He seems to have pretty close relationships with like a lot of the people who were in the Marvel movies. When that fucking controversy happened with Scarlett Johansson, everybody was like giving him shit. Like, I can't believe Kevin Feige's not doing it. It's like, what's he supposed to do? He's not. Yeah. He's not in charge of that stuff.
Right.
Like,
I don't think he was in charge of releasing it to digital.
Right.
When it was, that's not a him call. He made the movie. He put her in it.
Yeah.
But Disney, like that's an Iger. Well, I guess that was the other Bob.
I think that was Bob Chapek at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Chapek. So that was because that was when they were going all digital.
Yeah, I just thought to say
was
that.
Like, nope.
Yeah, I just thought to say that because you were like, oh yeah, he said corporate stuff. Because what's he? Not that I'm yelling at you, but like, what's he really supposed to do in this type of situation?
It wasn't really. I don't even know how to report it on. It's just
it's a good
fascinating that he gets out there. But an interesting guy, Barry Diller.
I don't know who that
the
is.
Former head of ABC,
right?
Former head of Fox Broadcasting, and Paramount.
Yep.
Is the current chairman and senior executive IHC and Expedia Group. He was on Face the Nation and he was talking about the strike, and he said the executives and the quote unquote most paid actors should take a 25% pay cut to try and narrow the difference between those who get highly paid and those that don't.
Socialism, baby. Let's go.
They'll never agree, probably.
No, of course.
I would imagine.
No.
Oh, no.
But as a guy that's been in the industry for a while and been a part of a lot of these, he said basically September 1st is the deadline to where we get to see shows next year or we don't.
That's crazy to think about.
We're already seeing the fallout of that. Like, I think CBS or ABC has picked up Yellowstone. They're going to start airing Yellowstone episodes, and a lot of the companies just start to reshuffle shit. All their scheduling. It's going to be a lot of fucking reality television and just buying shows from other places just to put stuff on the air.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, if we don't get a deal done by September, which I think it's got to be about the WGA strike because the writers want to get paid, and I think the actors are standing behind them. The actors obviously want to get paid more too because, as I said, the average actor is $28 an hour. So
yeah,
and they're worried about that. Everybody's worried about AI.
This is just another example of capitalism being a fucking cesspool. Don't roll your eyes at me. It is. Because like we just said, this is two rich motherfucking groups that are fighting with each other while all the little guys are the ones that suffer, okay?
Yeah.
And what you just said is like, the highest earning actors could fucking get a little bit of a fucking pay cut to help everybody else. As of 2022, Tom Cruise is the highest paid actor. I think he nets maybe like $100 million a fucking role or something like that. Like, you can't fucking give a little bit of money away. Like, and to just contrast that, Keanu Reeves, okay? Hollywood's a good guy. Everybody knows it. He's a great guy. One of the nicest people. I think he is the highest paid actor in history for a single film, which is $30 million for Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. The $100 million for Tom Cruise is not per film, by the way. I was exaggerating. So
it was The Rock last year. It was 270.
Yeah. So
it wasn't Tom Cruise.
So Keanu Reeves made that much money back then when Matrix came out, okay? He donated 70% of his money to charity that he makes per film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
no,
but
he doesn't need it all.
Why exactly?
He
my
buys
point.
nice things and he lives a nice life.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the rest, he just.
That's exactly my point. All these actors, like, they're there are certain actors that are no longer doing it for the craft or the love of the art. Like they do it. Like you don't need to make $100 million on a movie. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Like why?
For
Just
sure.
stand there and fucking act like
when is too much money?
when? Like do you want me to give you like an actual number?
Yeah.
You would need mathematical. It depends on where they live. You need some data for that.
Are we just talking about actors or just in general life?
In general.
Because as much as actors make, there's fucking CEOs out there that make like fucking quadrillions of dollars per year while their workers are fucking on bread lines and shit. So
Yeah.
what a number? I don't know. I couldn't think of one. I don't think
Pelosi's made hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Insider trading in the stock market.
She should be in fucking a prison in like Russia or some shit. Like I don't think anybody needs to make like $1 million a year. I think as a society we could like cut people's salaries off at like I don't know $200,000 and it would be even that's a lot of money. But I get it.
Yeah,
Like
it depends. $200,000, you could be like it depends on where you live too.
But see, the problem is with that because we're having this discussion.
let's
is
have
now
it.
you're saying, okay, so you're going to take away all Keanu Reeves' money and give it to the government because they are good at dispersing money, where Keanu was actually distributing that money and being generous with it.
Fair point.
Doing the right thing.
Fair point.
And
I'm
not abusing or misspending fucking dollars.
Fair point. I'm not saying the government should take his money and give it to somebody else. I'm saying from the ground level, he should just not be earning
somewhere.
No. He should just not be earning that much.
All right.
I just think that's silly. Like anesthesiologists, for example, make like $500,000 a year.
What's wrong with that?
Well, let me fucking finish. Anesthesiologists like keep people alive during surgery. So like there are certain professions where you could like logically validate the scale of income. My sister's
one. Shout out.
Is
my
she?
Sister Maria.
Shout out.
Yep.
And that's like, that's a job where you could say like, oh yeah, that deserves to earn as much as they do. But even that's a lot of money. So it's like, I don't know. We just have
it's a lot of work.
Whatever. I didn't want to get into it anymore, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, back to the news. We're basically done with the strike. Let's talk about some interesting stuff. Because we kind of really, we didn't really get into away from the shows we were watching too much. The Emmys were announced.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
We're only going to talk about. We're only going to talk about 2 categories here.
Oh wait, did Andor get nominated?
I actually posted a tweet about the Emmys in the chat, so you don't even read my tweets to complain about me not reading your videos.
I must have missed
or watching. HBO Max got 127 nods, Netflix got 103, Apple TV got 46, Hulu 42, Prime Video 42, Disney Plus 40, and so on down the line. Drama series, yes. So shows we've been watching, we pretty much hit all of these. Andor, Better Call Saul, The Crown, which I have not watched. House of the Dragon, The Last of Us, Succession, The White Lotus, and Yellow Jackets.
I'm betting my money right now. Better Call Saul wins that shit.
I never heard of that one.
There's no way Better Call Saul doesn't win that.
The White Lotus is good. When my roommate watched it, I kind of heard it, watched it in the background a little bit, but I need to sit down and watch it. And The Crown is about Queen Elizabeth II, her life from like 1940 into present day.
Yeah,
it's like 5 or 6 seasons now.
You think Better Call Saul over Andor? I don't think so.
What?
I loved Better Call Saul, but Andor
is great, but as just a pure drama, I don't think it compares to Better Call Saul.
I feel like The Last of Us or Succession is going to win.
Drama.
This is best drama series.
Best drama.
Yeah.
Andor hits a lot of different categories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Not that it doesn't make it a good drama. It is a good drama, but I just don't think it. I don't think it's the same as Better Call Saul, especially Better Call Saul's final season. Like, come on, Marvin.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Hey, listen.
I would go with Andor.
I respect your opinion, Andor. But you know me, I love Andor. Andor was phenomenal, so I respect it.
Okay, wait. So you're calling Andor, Marvin?
I'm calling Andor. That's my vote.
What are you calling, Dan?
Better Call Saul for sure.
I know what you're calling. What I want to win would probably be one of those two you pick.
Succession
what I
might
think
win,
is going to win is Succession or The Last of Us.
People love that.
I have a feeling that one of those two are going to win.
I don't think The Last of Us would win.
I don't think The Last of Us will win. Succession, because people fucking really love that show. I think Succession probably will win.
Yeah.
Realistically.
That's what I put my money on. So, yeah. Yellow Jackets, I don't know.
Did you finish it, though?
No. Okay. No. I've got Superman on the list first to finish. I just finished, Shadow and Bone, so I'm going to do Superman next, and then I'll probably get to that.
Nice.
Comedy series. Abbott Elementary. Now, this show was not on my radar at all, but now it is. It's like a group of teachers and a principal in Philadelphia.
Hilarious. You got to watch it.
I have not watched this, but it's on my radar. It's on my watch list now.
Funny. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got that. Barry got a nomination. The Bear got a nomination. That's another one.
Oh,
Everybody
The Bear,
says is good.
I heard that one's good. Yeah.
Jury Duty, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, Only Murders in the Building. It's a favorite of Dan of mine. I don't know if you're a big fan of that one, Marvin.
Love that show.
I haven't seen that.
It's a great show. Steve Martin and
Martin Short.
Martin Short, thank you. Ted Lasso got the nod, and Wednesday also got nominated. So obviously,
I think Abbott's gonna
win. Really? Okay. Well, I haven't seen that, so that's a good. I think Ted Lasso out of those.
I would agree, Ted Lasso, but I haven't seen a lot of those. So
yeah, I have not. There's a couple of these I have not seen. We hit pretty much all the drama shows, but some of these comedies we have not. So.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting. But we won't. I'm not going to go into detail on all the best actor, best actress drama. We'll just go through some of the wins once that happens. But I thought those were some interesting nominations for best drama and comedy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Glad Andor got a nod.
Yeah,
me too.
Absolutely.
That means Andor is transcending beyond just Star Wars fandom.
Right.
For it to be nominated.
I mean, I think Ahsoka will probably get some nominations once it comes out too, but
maybe. Did you never responded to that? Did you? What did you think about the first image of Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Oh yeah, that's right. I did not respond to that. Sorry. Yeah, he looks good.
I saw some people that didn't like it.
Amazing.
They're like his eyes are wrong.
You can't get everything perfect.
People nitpick the weirdest shit.
And the fact that he did the voice in the
no, that's cool. He's a blue guy. Like, who fucking cares?
Exactly. I don't care. So let's move on to WB.
Real quick, they are doing the Heir to the Empire, by the way. That's like they're adapting that like 100%. So yeah,
what is that?
Heir to the Empire was originally a
non-canon book,
a non-canon like extended universe thing. Yeah.
Yes.
And Admiral Thrawn was like one of Palpatine's contingencies to like carry on the Empire.
It was considered non-canon, and then Filoni brought Thrawn into the Star Wars Rebels and the shows and whatnot. So
she literally says in the trailer, she's like, "Seems we have an heir to the Empire." It's like, I thought that wasn't canon, Disney, you fucking assholes.
I gotta get back in my Star Wars bag.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Basically, Marvin, just to sum it all up, TLDR, there were years and years and years of like wonderful books and extended universe stories that weren't ever really considered canon, but they were very highly popular in the fandom of Star Wars. And then once Disney bought Lucasfilms, they were like, yeah, none of that shit is canon. But now that they're running out of ideas, they're like taking stuff from the stuff that they considered not canon and just calling it their own, basically.
Slap in the face.
Yep. It's like Apple, when Apple takes like a thing that was formerly like a jailbreak tweak or something, and then they call it their own. Yeah. Doing the same shit.
Yep.
All right, Dusty, what else you got for us?
Well, again, the news is going to be slim. We got WB news. We got a couple things here. NoHo Hank, our boy.
I
mentioned him earlier, Anthony Kerrigan. He has been cast as Metamorpho in Superman Legacy. That is his character is able to transmute his body into various elemental compounds, kind of like
a lot of characters popping up in this movie, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not gonna
like
lie.
Sandman and
too many characters.
And Spider-Man, except a little different.
I might be on the Snyder fans side on this one.
I'm okay with
too
it.
much.
Well, they're making they are making they think that comic book fan gatekeepers, they think that people were mad that Batman v Superman introduced Wonder Woman and Batman and all these other characters, which was not ever the case for me anyway, and most of the people that I know. It was just the way that those characters were handled. I do think Warner Brothers definitely rushed. They went from Man of Steel to
they mishandled.
Yeah. So in that sense, yes, I think it was stupid to introduce that many characters. So they're like, oh, all you comic book fans are fine with all these castings in Superman Legacy, but you had a problem when Snyder did it. But I'm like, no, I think there are too many characters in this movie now. But who knows? I don't know how they're going to show up or what part they're going to play. I want to see a Superman solo film personally, but we'll see how it goes. I trust James Gunn still.
With how Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy, I am okay with him picking out characters and throwing them in, because a lot of them are going to have parts and you're like, oh, that character's cool and interesting.
Yeah.
That gets people to buy comics, even if they have a 5-minute part in a 2-hour movie that sells toys, it sells comics. That's what that. So, and I'm okay. I'm ready for a universe where all the superheroes are there.
Yeah, and he's also said like
Warner Brothers does it better than Disney is doing it right now.
We'll see. He also said this movie is about Superman in a world where heroes already exist, and it's like it's not an origin story. So that's I think the big distinction that people have to remember.
They're gonna throw you right in. Yeah, it's like the Mario Brothers, except a little bit different. The world, just go along with the story.
Right.
Oh, that's gonna be
And it's about Superman really kind of like, sort of like balancing the life of being both a Kryptonian and like an Earthling. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Anthony Carrigan was talking to Variety. He said he's excited to play someone completely different and surprise people with just being unrecognizable.
I have to pee, carry the torch.
He also said that he didn't really have a chance to dive deep into the character, but he did read some of the comics when he did some of the acting or screen testing, I guess. So he's fascinated by the character. So yeah, a
little bit of knowledge. Yeah.
And then other casts, as Dan would say, too many of them. Nathan Fillion, Isabella Merced, and Eddie Gathegi. Were recently cast as Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific, respectively.
Oh, shit.
So lots of superheroes. We did get Hawk. No, we didn't get Hawk Girl. No. So, yeah, this will all be new stuff. But, yeah, casting. That's all we're going to get right now, Marvin, for news. No production stuff. And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so just because they're introducing all these people as cast, they could be in the movie for like 3 minutes, or you don't know.
Some of them will be in it for a lot. Some of them won't be in it hardly at all. Maybe 3 lines. Some might have a monologue, but it's not going to be anything like you just be like, oh, that's a character. Well, that's an interesting character. Like I don't think James Gunn did it. He did it well with Guardians. Like you didn't have to know who the Guardians were when you went in to watch that movie, because you found the characters interesting and you wanted to learn more about them. And if you can do that with characters that nobody knows and introduce them in that way, and then maybe eventually give them movies and shows later, that's the way to do it. Marvel, it feels like, is trying to just shove it down our throat, and I hope James takes a gentler approach.
Right.
A little just addition to what you said. He is playing the Green Lantern that Nathan Fillion's playing is specifically Guy Gardner. There are multiple Green Lanterns. And according to...
Did we talk about this last week? I don't remember if we...
I don't think so, but I'm not a huge Green Lantern guy. I don't know all the Green Lantern history, but I got word from Ed, shout out to Ed, that Nathan Fillion is the perfect Guy Gardner.
Yes.
So I think that's cool. But one thing that kind of annoys me, the girl playing Hawk Girl, she is like Hispanic, it looks like, or some form of it. And Hawk Girl, as far as I'm aware, is Egyptian. Why don't you just get like, there's all this talk about like, inclusivity and like, whatchamacallit in film, representation. Why don't you just hire a fucking Egyptian actress? And this is why I get pissed off because in Moon Knight, that chick who was in the show was Egyptian, and she literally existed. That show existed to introduce her character, the fucking winged fucking thing at the end.
Yeah.
Who's not a Marvel character. They just were like, we need an Egyptian in Marvel. Make a fake character. Why not just hire the girl to do this, who there is an Egyptian character? Wouldn't that make more sense? I don't know. That shit annoys the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
All right. Well, on to Disney.
Yeah.
Casting rumor latest for F4. Our boy Eben Moss Bachrach is the latest actor to be rumored, specifically as The Thing. He was in The Punisher as
Micro,
and he was also in Andor. So yeah, he's a really good actor. I like.
He played the
what he's
scumbag.
Yeah,
in Andor.
The scumbag.
He played the one that was like the guy who. Remember
he was the one in the group that didn't trust him the whole time.
He was adversarial towards Andor, and then by the end he like stole all the money and like dipped on his own. Remember?
He was part of the crew, and then
yes.
Okay.
He is a good actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor for sure.
Yeah. He was great in The Punisher.
Yeah.
That'll be. Yeah, we got that. Yeah. That, I mean, if it happens, it's again rumor mill, so we'll see. But I like him in that pick. Be interesting. And then I guess Deadpool 3. We got what do we got? We got Jennifer Garner confirmed, Halle Berry teased.
Oh God.
Ben Affleck rumored, and now Wesley Snipes is.
Wait, who the fuck would Halle Berry be playing? Oh, Storm. What am I saying?
Storm.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot she played Storm.
Yeah, Dangerous had a stroke. Everybody.
No, I just blocked out those early X-Men movies, and I only recognize 8 Days of Future Past and
just blocked
X-Men.
out Halle Berry. I'm offended.
X-Men. What was the other one?
Apocalypse, Days of Future Past.
The one before Days of Future Past.
The Phoenix.
First class.
Oh, First Class.
Yeah, First Class and Days of Future Past, as far as I'm concerned, are the only X-Men movies that exist. All the others are dog shit.
But yeah, it looks like they're going to give Wesley Snipes a goodbye. He's the latest actor to be rumored in the Deadpool 3. So it looks like they're letting all the old characters come in this movie to say their one line, and then
I don't actually think that's what they're doing. Do you know what I think they're doing? I think they're adapting Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. I think he's gonna. We know that part of the plot is the TVA chasing him because of the time travel shenanigans he did at the end of Deadpool 2. I have a feeling all these cameos are going to be Deadpool going around killing the members of the old Marvel movies that weren't part of the MCU. Right. And that shit will be fucking hilarious.
Yes. That's a fourth wall break beyond a fourth wall break, really.
Have you ever read
amazing.
Have you ever read Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, Dusty?
Yes.
I
Deadpool comics are great.
I think that's what they're doing.
Got some Cable and Deadpool ones that are pretty good. So yeah, Wesley Snipes. It'll be interesting though. I don't know if Ben Affleck will do it, but we'll see.
Well, he was seen on set.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
or at the set. We don't know what he was doing.
RDJ was seen on the set of show too. That's
yeah. Oh
yeah. Okay, so Tron Ares. You guys like the Tron movies?
Didn't see it. Don't
didn't
care.
see them.
Didn't watch the Tron.
I like the idea of Tron, but I haven't seen it.
Well, the '80s movie was great. The reboot was wasn't bad.
I've seen the '80s one, to be clear. I didn't see the reboot.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it was great. But they're making a new one. This will be the third one in the series. Tron Ares is what's called. Cameron Monaghan has been casted in an unnamed role.
Hold on, Tron Legacy wasn't a reboot. It was a sequel, I think.
Yes, sequel. Yeah. Continuation because Jeff Bridges is an old man in it. Yeah.
Legacy has a 6.8 on IMDb though. I might have to watch those. Check them out.
It's not a bad movie. I mean, it's fun watch, but I don't know. It's not what I was expecting.
That's fair.
But yeah, Cameron Monaghan was in Gotham and a couple other things. Latest to be cast in that show, yes, as yet unnamed. This is Jared Leto, Evan Peters, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Greta Lee also involved. This is Joachim Roning attached to direct. The script by Jesse Wigato and Jack Thorne. Jared is producing as well and plays the main character. This is a new program that will cross over to the real world. So we're going to get some real.
Is Garrett Hedlund in it again or no?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
New program, new stuff.
That's fair.
And the last piece of vital Disney information I have for you is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 releases on Disney Plus on May 5th.
Nice.
So we'll get to watch it and rewatch it.
Yep.
Are you guys going to rewatch? Oh, okay, I was going to ask.
I'm 100% going to rewatch.
Definitely. Absolutely.
You know why.
So. Last week we reported on Craig Mazin taking his name off the Borderlands credits. Apparently that was not entirely accurate. He did an interview, I think, and he said, I'm not a credited writer on the film, so I cannot say any kind of authorship of Borderlands, much less co-writing. I did see the report about the pseudonym, which is false. I did not use a pseudonym. If the name in question is indeed a pseudonym, I can say it is not mine. So the Joe Crombie pseudonym, which was reported to be his, because it was reported he took his name off it, but it was also reported that he just changed it to a pseudonym. And he's like, my name's not on it, and that's not my pseudonym. So he's like off it, 100%.
Okay.
So he just wanted to clarify that it's not my fucking pseudonym. That's basically what he wanted to say. And then the last piece, this one you might find interesting, Dan. I'm going to start with the quote. It's only natural to be scared about the things that go bump in the night. But Nightmares of Nature isn't a projection of the supernatural. Once you start looking at the natural world, you will find things as terrifying as anything in horror movies.
True.
To tell that story, we could not hope to find better collaborators than Blumhouse and Pimsel Productions.
Mm-hmm.
Combining the world's greatest horror filmmakers with some of the world's best natural history storytellers is a unique opportunity to create a more visceral, emotional point of entry to nature than anything we've seen before. So Blumhouse is teaming up with Pimsel Productions to make a horror type natural nature show.
That's kind of cool, actually.
The shit out of you nature show.
That's kind of cool.
Like some of it's prehistoric, I think. Some of it's like present time, but like they want to do like a scary fucking nature show. So yeah, no network or streaming platform has been attached to this yet, but yeah, Blumhouse Productions and Plimsoll Productions have paired up to do a horror style BBC Earth, I guess.
I like that,
which I think is great. I think
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's
scare
super
the shit out of me.
creative.
Show me
something new.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, unnerve me a little bit. Show me something.
That's very
Grizzly
creative.
Man.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought you liked that one. Yeah.
Grizzly Man. Was that the thing you watched on stream? That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I hated that.
Oh yeah, I think that was what I saw you to watch. No,
it was so dumb.
That guy. What?
I mean, he
was protecting the bears. What's your problem, Dan?
Well, yeah, he was dumb, but the documentary was shot as like you're supposed to feel sorry for the guy when I didn't feel an ounce of anything. I was just like, this guy's an idiot.
I felt a little bad for him.
Like, of course he died. He was fucking around with bears.
He was protecting the bears.
Like that's just
and the bears
happened.
ate him.
Yeah. I mean,
He's trying to be friends with him.
Yeah. So is that it for the news?
He just stayed too long. That's all. He was fine.
That is it for the
He just
news.
stayed too long.
All right. Thank you, Dusty, for delivering the news once again.
No problem.
Before we get into the review, I have a little thing on Twitter. I saw a post. I actually responded to it. I don't know if you guys saw, but somebody posted, if you wrote your dream horror movie, who would you want to direct it? Now, you just reminded me of this, so that's why I brought it up. I want to hear what you guys said. So if
say that again?
If you wrote your dream horror movie, who would you want to direct it? I know what Marvin's going to say.
Dream horror.
Yeah, you wrote it. So basically, you wrote your perfect horror movie. Who would you want to direct your vision, basically?
What is his name?
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was going to say.
Probably Peele.
Okay, that's what I thought you were going to say. Yeah, you like his movies quite a bit.
Yeah, I love his stuff.
All right, that's a good answer. Dusty?
Actually no. I'd probably just fall back to John Carpenter.
Nice.
Who do you think I picked?
I don't know.
Come on. Easy.
Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was torn. I was torn between Carpenter and Mike Flanagan.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm a big Mike Flanagan fan. The master of adaptations. But yeah, so I thought that was a little fun thing. But yeah, so let's get into today's review.
I would like to see a Vince Gilligan horror. That would be cool.
Hey.
I want to see what he does with the horror.
Go watch X-Files.
I mean, I don't. Oh my god, I didn't even think of Sam Raimi. I don't know why I didn't.
So I might switch mine to Vince Gilligan. But yeah,
that's actually that is a good choice because we haven't seen him direct horror. He wrote a bunch of episodes of
X-Files.
X-Files.
I mean,
Oh,
so many good ones, Dan.
Did he direct?
Lynch, Stanley Kubrick, Alfred Hitchcock. I mean,
Yeah, no, there's a lot. I mean, listen.
Holy, I got to think on that one. Andy Machete.
I don't believe he directed an episode of X-Files. I'm pretty sure he's only written. He also wrote one of the best.
excuse me.
Universally thought of as one of the best episodes, Jose Chung's From Outer Space. You should watch the X-Files, Marvin.
Yeah, it's a lot of episodes though.
Yeah, but I think you'll love it. That's the next thing you should watch.
All right, Dan. Who
is X-Files
wouldn't
like
you let
better than like
direct it?
Twilight Zone?
Is it better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different. It's not better. It's just very different.
Okay.
Twilight Zone is like
comparable.
No. Twilight Zone is like every episode's just different. It's like Twilight Zone's Twilight Zone's an anthology where it's like
okay.
This is X-Files is like it has like a continuity.
Right.
Every so often they take a break from like the running. Like there's two in X-Files fandom they call them the Monster of the Week episodes and the Mythology episodes. The Mythology episodes are like a singular story that they tell across the whole series.
Yeah.
The Monster of the Week episodes where they usually take a break from that and like it's Mulder and Scully like off on some investigation that usually has nothing to do with like the mythology stuff.
Got it.
Who would I not want to direct?
Yeah, if they came and knocked on your door and said, "I read your script, I love it," like M. Night Shyamalan
Tyler
or Romero or
Tyler
like
Perry.
who would you say? No, get the fuck out of here.
Zack Snyder.
Damn.
My movie was not made to be in slow-mo.
A horror director.
Sorry, bro.
It's all right.
All right, let's get into today's review. Today we're talking about Asteroid City, the latest from Wes Anderson, who is one of my favorite directors. Now, Wes Anderson.
Really?
Yeah, I knew it. Wes Anderson.
I hated this goddamn movie.
I knew you would. I knew you were going to hate it. Wes Anderson.
So boring, bro.
Wes Anderson is interesting because either you love his movies or you hate his movies. There's no in between with Wes Anderson.
I'm an honest man. I hated it.
It's fair. No, that's fair. I knew you were gonna not like it, but so we're gonna start with you.
So
hang on.
you loved the last movie we did, and you hated this one, and they were both 7s, right?
On IMDb, yeah.
Oh, is this a 7 on IMDb?
Sure is 6.9.
This movie was
the other
boring,
one was yeah. Okay.
All right, hang on. Everybody, settle down.
Go ahead.
Let me. I was gonna start with you because I knew you weren't gonna like it. I knew when we picked it 2 weeks ago you weren't gonna like it.
Oh God.
Again, Wes Anderson has a very particular and a very unique visual style, as you could tell from his movies. And this is no different than any of his movies. So this is nothing different from him. You either hate it or you love it. The
movie was aesthetically pleasing for sure.
Yeah.
But the dialogue, I didn't like the story. I didn't finish it. I'm gonna be honest.
That's fair. I didn't finish whatever the bullshit was we watched last
movie
week.
Bored me to tears. Yeah. Keep going.
No, that's fair. So Asteroid City, written and directed by Wes Anderson. Every fucking actor on earth is in this movie, apparently.
It's Oscar bait, and I fucking hate those.
This is not
movies for one.
This isn't
Oscar bait.
No. Oscar bait is very different than that. Oscar bait is a movie with millions of actors that anybody could sit down and enjoy. This is a movie for Wes Anderson fans. That's what this is. And all these actors, most of them have been in Wes Anderson movies before, namely Jason Schwartzman,
okay.
fucking Adrien Brody, But this has Scarlett Johansson in it, Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Bryan Cranston, Ed Norton, who's been in a lot of Wes Anderson movies. We've got Maya Hawke from fucking Stranger Things in this. Rupert Friend, Liev Schreiber, like Sophia Lillis from fucking It. Like the cast is just never ending. I'm not even going to go through all of them.
Yeah.
Fucking Steve Carell is in this movie, who I thought was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
And this movie is it's interesting in that it tells three stories. So you have the movie opens with Bryan Cranston, who plays a sort of 1950s-esque TV host, and he's introducing the audience to a live televised production of a play called Asteroid City. So that's like story number one. Story number two is the actual play itself. We're watching, the bulk of the movie is us watching this play called Asteroid City. And then the third story is the behind the scenes watching how the play got made. And that's with Ed Norton's character and Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. And in Asteroid City, in the play, in the film, it's basically a writer who is writer played by Jason Schwartzman named Augie Steinbeck, and he takes his son Augie and his son Woodrow and his three daughters to this town called Asteroid City, where there's like this young stargazers award going on, and his son's like a young genius, and it's him and a bunch of other little geniuses, and that's basically the bulk of the story.
The witch, the fairy, and the
vampire.
The vampire, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. That was a good intro.
So how far did you make it in this, Marvin?
I'm not actually sure. I read the synopsis and it was before the alien stuff. I just
Okay.
It was super, those first 20, 30 minutes, it felt like an hour.
Goldblum.
And it was just really boring to me, so I just turned it off.
That's fair. Hey, sometimes you just
I
gotta
didn't want to
turn
spend
shit
my
off.
Sunday watching this, so I decided against it.
That's fair.
Respect. Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to turn stuff off. So
Yeah.
So I turned off. What the fuck was that movie called?
Beau's Afraid.
Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
I stopped watching that, not because it was boring, but because it was actually the opposite of boring.
It's the opposite. It's too
that
much.
that was like work. So I turned that off. So you were bored. What were you bored by? Just what was going on, or the dialogue, or what was it? You mentioned the dialogue.
I don't know. Maybe it's because it was like, I don't know. It just everything felt monotone to me.
That's
dialogue wise.
That's his style.
But it just fucking very boring.
I understand.
It was a little nonsensical at times, but I saw where he was going with it. So
Yeah.
Well, Wes Anderson, I don't know. I'm assuming you haven't seen any of his previous movies, Marvin.
I actually haven't. I was taking a look.
Dusty, you've seen some of his films, I'm assuming you have, right?
yes.
Now, I like every movie he's ever done, so I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
My favorite movie from him is The Royal Tenenbaums. That movie's fucking amazing. I think.
That's a good one.
And Life Aquatic is
That's
was my
Bill Murray.
Yep, and then the Darjeeling Limited. Those are my top three. This movie, honestly, that got skyrocketed up into my top of Wes Anderson list. I really did enjoy this movie quite a bit. And the reason is because I'm trying to how do you describe Wes Anderson to somebody who isn't familiar with his work? I mean, you've watched some of this movie. All his movies are like this. There's like a whimsical, there's like a whimsical element to it. They're very detached from reality in terms of like, you see the set was like, he makes things kind of look almost like cartoons.
Yeah.
Very vibrant in color. The characters are like very monotone is a good word for it. They're very like statuesque, and they don't emote very much. So in his movies, a lot of what the movie is doing comes from the dialogue of the characters, and in this movie, I think it was one of the more complicated movies in terms of dialogue, because they're talking about like astrophysics and shit, some of which was real and familiar to me, because as you guys know, like I like astrophysics, and I listen to a lot of and read a lot of books about it and stuff like that, and some of it was just like nonsensical shit he made up for the movie. So there was a lot of it that was like kind of hard to navigate. But
Right.
I thought the performances in this movie were fucking unbelievable. Jason Schwartzman was great. He's always great. I thought
he was.
Bryan Cranston was fucking crushing it in this movie, even just as a TV show host. Bryan Cranston is such a good character actor. It's like actually unbelievable. In fact,
Right.
the most recent episode of this season of It's Always Sunny had Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul on.
What?
And the episode was basically about
You want to
how
buy the plane?
yeah, it was about like how good of an actor Bryan Cranston is, and
Yeah.
he does this like this really dramatic like performance in it where he's almost like getting into like Walter White character kind of, and it's
Yeah.
just so good. And the whole thing is about how good of an actor he is, basically.
That's acting.
Damn.
Yeah, it was really funny.
That's sick.
He was good. Like Ed Norton was in the movie for like, I don't know, maybe a total of like 10 minutes, but he fucking crushed it in this. But the standout for me, Scarlett Johansson in this movie absolutely fucking crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she gets enough credit for being as good of an actor as she is.
Yeah, people always shit on her.
I don't know
She
why.
shows some good emotion when she acts. I thought Margot was good too. I like the monologues in this. So like I can understand how Marvin felt. Like
For sure.
some of the dialogue felt a little I don't know, dry or whatever.
It is.
But when
It
they
is.
would get in on the actor and just you saw their face and they're doing a monologue and they're just acting for the camera.
Yep.
It was amazing. I enjoyed that very much.
Well, that's why I tried to describe his work as that. Like the dialogue and like the delivery of it is always like kind of stiff in a way, but but the dialogue itself is what that style of shoot like brings focus onto the dialogue itself, kind of.
I don't like that. Like, I feel like if I'm watching something,
Yeah.
I need it to be more obvious what the actor is portraying and like
Yeah. Well,
acting out. Like,
I'm curious.
if I want to read, if I read a book, then I could just read dialogue and I could do the imagination part myself. But if I'm watching something, I don't want to. That's how I feel about it.
Well, so that's not to say that the performances don't count for anything, because as I was just saying,
Yeah.
the performances in the movie were great. It's just it almost is like I really don't even know how to describe it. Like the characters themselves are stiff, but the performances and the dialogue isn't. If that makes any sense, I know those are
that
two like
makes sense.
contradictory
That does make sense.
things. And I'm curious that if you, I would love for you to actually finish the movie, because by the end of it, like there was like a really I think heartfelt sort of message to the movie, and I'd be curious.
okay.
I'd be curious if it actually landed on you. And anyway, not that it's like a big mystery of what it was, but you kind of turned it off before like the turning point of the movie.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens here? They're in this place, Asteroid City, for this contest, and during the night of one of these events that they're doing, a fucking spaceship comes down and steals the asteroid that this city is like founded on.
Right.
And the town falls under military quarantine because of the spaceship, and they're like stuck there. And there's like some funny stuff that plays out.
All right.
It's so funny.
But towards the end of the movie, there are there are more breaks where you go into black and white world, where you're seeing like the actual play get developed. And there's a really beautiful moment. Dusty talked about it for a second. Early in the film, we find out that the character Augie, his wife died, and he was keeping it from his kids. His wife, we see a little bit later on, is played by Margot Robbie. Well, it turns out that her one scene that she had was cut from the play. And very, very later in the movie, there's a moment where Jason Schwartzman, the actor version of him, not Augie, runs into her. And she basically runs the scene that she was cut from with him. And it's actually a really beautiful scene, and that's the selling point of the movie, where it actually that's the I get what this movie's about moment. Yeah, that's the hook. And the movie, while maybe it meanders a little bit. I mean, it's about a lot of things. It's about like young sort of romance and like adventure of being a young kid. It's a coming of age story, but ultimately it's a movie about like loss and how to kind of like navigate that.
That's the Wes Anderson shtick, though, like loss, abandonment, sibling rivalry, growing up. That's what he does.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. And towards the end of the movie, there's that scene. So Jason Schwartzman's character, his second character, who's the actor, is Jones. I know this is very confusing. Jones, we see early in the movie when he is auditioning for the writer of the play, who is played by Edward Norton, Conrad Earp. He's the playwright. Jason Schwartzman's character, Jones, is auditioning for him, and there's like a little moment where they kiss. So they have a real life romance. But very late, at the very end of the movie, you find out that 6 months into the play running, Edward Norton's character, Conrad, dies in a car crash.
Wow.
And right as you find that out, Jason Schwartzman's character, Jones, goes to Adrien Brody, who's the director of the play, and he says, I don't understand what this play is about, and I need to know. And there's like a very interesting conversation between the two, and Jones asks, do I keep doing it? And Schubert, the director, played by Adrien Brody, says yes. And Jones continues, he says, without knowing anything, and Schubert says yes. So Jones...
That's the point.
Yeah, Jones is insisting that he doesn't understand the play and feels like there should be an answer to the meaning of life, and the director, Schubert, tells him that he should just keep telling the story even if he doesn't understand it. Now, obviously, that is a stand-in for just life itself and how we're all kind of here on this floating rock that we don't really know what we're here for or why we're here, and we have to just, despite the knowledge of our own...
It's about the journey, not the destination, basically.
Yeah, and despite existing with the crushing knowledge of our own mortality, we have to just continue on living life, and we may never have meaning for it. So that was a nice little moment, but right after that you find out that the director died. So this character Jones, he's dealing with he explains to the director that he's feeling every day. He says he feels the how does he put it, Dusty? He says that he feels the heartbreak every night from playing his character Augie. He feels the heartbreak that Augie feels from losing his wife. But then we learn that he feels real heartbreak too, because he lost his lover, which was Edward Norton's character.
Margot? Yeah.
So he lost somebody and his character lost somebody. So he's dealing with this like crushing loss, and then the director tells him like, hey, that's kind of just how it is, and you got to just push on through. And that's, I think, ultimately the message of this movie. And then there's another interesting scene at the end, right after this happens. We get a cut to Edward Norton working, because basically the way the play was made is he was working with like an acting troupe, and then he ended up hiring like all the actors who work for them.
Right.
And he says he wants to create a scene where everybody falls asleep. He wants to shoot a scene where they're all sleeping. And it's a very weird scene, but Jason Schwartzman's character stands up and he says, you can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. And then everybody in the room starts repeating it. They all stand up. You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. You can't wake up and you don't fall asleep. Now, what does that mean? Well, I think it's open to interpretation, but my sort of read on it is basically Wes Anderson telling the audience, especially people in the audience who might be struggling with grief themselves, just like the main character, it's like giving permission to sort of lose yourself in like some sort of escapism. Right. And I thought that this was...
It's okay to dream.
Yeah, and I thought that this was very interesting, given my position on last week's movie, where I said I turned it off because I'm the type of person, when I watch a movie, I want to know what's going on. I want clear... Not clear always, but just some sort of explanation. I want to leave a movie understanding some sort of message. And that movie last week, Beau Was Afraid, didn't have that at all. And we even collectively agreed that's not the type of movie where you're going to sit there and sort of try to interpret what's going on. You just have to watch it and enjoy it for what it is. Yep. And I thought that was pretty ironic, because I think that's the message of this movie from Wes Anderson, of just being like, hey, sometimes you just enjoy something, whether it be art or a play or a movie or a TV show or a book. None of those things may give you all the answers for what it's about or what you may be looking for in real life, which Jones was frustrated to learn when he had the conversation with Adrien Brody. But there's still a way to help you process and ultimately grow. Sometimes you kind of just got to turn your brain off and like watch something. You know what I mean?
Right.
They did it with the sandwich too. Like, why does he burn his hand? On the Grail? And then when he's actually doing the lines with Midge or Scarlett Johansson's character, it's like, oh my god, he actually did it because he burned his hand.
Right. So, while you sleep, right, in real life, you dream, and sometimes in dreams you learn stuff about you wake up and you like refreshed with like a new I got a burst of energy this morning. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
So that's how I took the whole like thing of like when you wake up, maybe you don't notice an immediate change, but sometimes a story or whatever will change you in some manner. But the movie was definitely it definitely had a lot of like pathos to it. So I think it could definitely be interpreted differently by whoever's watching it. But I kind of took it as like that meaning of life sort of thing. I'll
have to go back and watch it then.
Yeah, well, I'm not forcing you to do it. I appreciate, I respect your opinion. And I knew you were not going to like this movie when we picked it. But I think maybe if you stick it through, you might be like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. Because like it's his visual style. And like the way you said the acting is, it's all very like bizarre and like detached from reality. All his movies are like that.
Yeah, it's
but
unorthodox, that, like Beau's Afraid, but it's not as
it's not as
inexplicable.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's not as out of the wild.
Beau is Afraid is like literal madness.
Yes, it is.
This is more, I would say, like I guess you could call his movies like artsy.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I got that vibe for sure.
He's probably one of the last remaining like auteur filmmakers out there that has like a very particular vision, doesn't really give a fuck with, because he gets criticized about it a lot. Matter of fact, a couple months ago, there was like a TikTok trend where people were like making fun of Wes Anderson.
Really?
Yeah. They were doing like, oh, if Wes Anderson did this, and it was like, it was just people doing Wes Anderson like type of movies, but with like real life things. Yeah, it was funny. So he is a very much like love him or hate him type of filmmaker. So
I mean, you can definitely typecast some of these directors. Like you could typecast David Lynch. You could do the same thing. David Lynch
for sure.
Oh yeah.
But you strip away that stuff with his movies, and you do get, like Dusty said, like these very like human and emotional stories. Like the Royal Tenenbaums, that movie is fucking depressing as shit. Like that is a movie about a family that is like very fucked up, have their own like individual problems and like the inner workings of like a family dynamic. But yeah, I thought the acting was phenomenal in this. I really don't understand why she doesn't get more credit. Maybe it's because of all the Marvel movie appearances. People seem to like fucking hate those movies. Yeah. But she is a really fucking good actress. In this movie, she fucking killed it. In Jojo Rabbit, she fucking crushed it. Like she is I think she's one of the best working actors today, honestly. So speaking of Wes Anderson's like particular style, I don't know if you really noticed for the amount of time you watched it, Marvin, but he has like his sets are like jam packed. They're like very intricate with little details to find in the background and stuff like that. One of my favorites that I just kind of cherry picked was a moment in the movie where Jason Schwartzman and Scarlett Johansson were talking to each other within their own little cabins through the window, and she just has this giant bottle of like Chanel sitting next to her bathtub. It's like just a cartoonishly big bottle of Chanel perfume. I thought that was kind of really funny. And one of the other standouts for me in this movie was Steve Carell. I thought he was fucking hilarious in this movie.
Yeah, he was good.
He plays like the owner of this like land, I guess, and the motel. And the whole movie,
$10 and quarters in, you buy a piece of land.
The whole movie, he was trying to sell the real estate. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. And he opened every line of dialogue with, "Of course, I understand." No matter what the person said to him, he's like, "Of course, I understand."
Yeah, he's like, "Where are they? Oh, hello, Mr. Augie. Yes, of course, I understand. Yes, they checked out. Everybody's gone." It's so fucking funny. That was towards the end. Augie's like, "Where did everybody go?" He's like, "Of course, I understand. Everybody's checked out. Yes, every one of them." They lifted the quarantine and everybody's gone.
So that's why I really.
What kind of juice would you like? Would you like carrot, apple, orange, pear?
I would love for you to go back and watch this, Marvin, because it really is a funny movie. Like, and it's dry humor like that. It's things that aren't outwardly funny.
Very dry humor.
But I really think it was funny as fuck. And there was another really funny scene too, which is supposed to be a sad scene because it's early in the movie where Jason Schwartzman tells his kids that their mother died 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And he's like, "You guys have no concept of time." And then the daughter's like, 15 minutes is 6,200 hours. And he's like, It's not your fault. Like, there was just a lot of like really funny moments like that. And
I did see that.
And that's something that Wes Anderson does really well. Like, he always is able to tell these really like sad stories, but with like an air of comedy to it, to sort of like
Tom Hanks
take the edge off a little bit.
Negotiate with his granddaughters about his
Burial,
daughter's ashes while he's walking around in a quarantine zone strapped with a fucking revolver.
Yeah. I think this was a very good movie. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorites of his. I'm sure I didn't do it justice by explaining it, and I'm sure my explanation was very confusing, but give me a fucking break.
No.
People, it's 3 fucking stories in one.
Right. Yeah.
No, it's hard to wrap your brain around it, but once you sit down and watch it and get through it, it's a good movie.
Well, it's hard to explain. I was never confused. Like, it's very clear, like, the Bryan Cranston stuff is like a TV presentation of the story of this play being made. And then we go one layer deeper and we're seeing the play being made. And then we go one level deeper and we're actually watching and experiencing the play itself.
The playwright, yeah.
So I was never confused. I think just explaining it is a little confusing and doesn't really do it justice, because there's multiple characters. The actors in this movie play multiple characters with different names and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, that's probably one thing that confuses some people, I would imagine.
Right.
Yeah. But I really love this movie. I thought it was, ultimately by the end of it, I was really touched by it. For all the character stories, really, like not just Jason Schwartzman's character.
Right.
It's funny. I hated him for the longest fucking time, Jason Schwartzman, like as a person. Because the first movie that I saw of him in it, the first movie I saw with him in it was another Wes Anderson movie. It was Wes Anderson's second movie, Rushmore, where Jason Schwartzman plays like just kind of a real piece of shit kid. And I just like, I don't know why my brain just associated that character to him for so long. I did the same thing with Vince Vaughn. The first movie I saw with Vince Vaughn was the remake of Psycho, and I fucking hated that movie, and I hated him in it, and I just hated Vince Vaughn for the longest time because of it. Really weird. Surprising to see Bill Murray not in this movie. Bill Murray is a mainstay in Wes Anderson films. I think he's been in like every one of them, but he wasn't in this. For a brief moment, I thought maybe he was the alien, but turned out it was just Jeff Goldblum. But yeah, what else you got for us, Dusty, with this movie? Anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I think you pretty much hit most of the notes. I love this movie. It was really good. I thought the story was good. Again, the monologues were where I really got into it. I thought it was a bit slow at times, but it's a dry, droll comedy. So that's the way these go. But
was there anything you actually did like about it, Marvin?
Like I said, I like the aesthetics I like the visuals for sure of the movie. Well, of the play.
The play part of it, yeah.
The play part.
Very vibrant.
I like the colors.
Very vibrant.
Yeah.
You didn't think it was funny, like in the beginning when they're at the gas station and like the fucking shootout just keeps driving by between the cops?
That shit was funny. Him fixing the car was funny. He was like trying to explain to him like, hopefully it's not this.
Yeah, one
and
or
then
two
it's this fucking
situations.
thing. It's like something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. So I should go back and watch it. I think maybe I just have to watch it in the morning.
Maybe you were just in a weird mood.
That's my key. Just got to watch it in the morning.
When you're nice and awake.
When I'm super awake and focused, yeah.
Surprising that this had a PG-13 rating, because there is a Scarlett Johansson nudity moment in this movie. Like full on. You see bush and boobs. The double B.
Oh, that's PG-13?
You see B and B.
Be a body double. Talk about it being a body double right after.
Well, they do. That's very meta of you to pick up on. I do believe it was her, though, and this is going to sound creepy, but only because I've seen her naked body in another movie where it wasn't a body double. It looked very similar. We'll just say that. But it's not like full frontal. You see her blurred in like a mirror. I mean, obviously you could make stuff out, but you do see bush and boobs.
She drops her towel and you see her reflection in the mirror for a second.
Yeah. Okay. But I was surprised that this was PG-13 because of that. But I did go and read about it, and apparently it originally got a R rating for brief graphic nudity, and then Focus Features, the production company that put the movie out, they actually appealed the decision, and then the film was re-rated to PG-13 for brief graphic nudity, smoking, and some suggestive material.
Huh.
Yeah, there's lots of. They did it in Back to School with what's his name? There's lots of just 1 second flash scene. Like, oh my gosh, I saw you full frontal for 1 second.
Yeah,
those were like PG movies back when I was a kid. Not even PG-13. Those were PG.
Yeah, no, the rating has definitely shifted. Yeah. So just a couple of little financial things before we wrap up. As of July 16th, the movie, which is like 2 days ago, the movie made $26.3 million in the United States and Canada, $17.1 million elsewhere, for a total worldwide of $43.4 million. So that's probably something that's like expected for a movie like this that premieres at like Cannes Film Festival, wherever this fucking premiered. It had a limited opening weekend, so I guess that's kind of a success. I don't. It's kind of hard to gauge because we talk about like blockbusters a lot, where they're making like fucking $200 billion and all this bullshit.
Right.
This is a more modest film. But it's getting good. It's getting good ratings all over the place where you would typically go to on IMDb. It's got a 6.9.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is pretty high. And like I said, like if you read the reviews here on IMDb, as I often like to do, like most of them are positive. It's just, again, it's like it's a movie made for Wes Anderson fans. Like there's nobody that's going to sit and watch this as their first time and be like, I love this movie. I don't think, anyway. I would find that hard. Here's a 1 out of 10 though, which says there's a couple. Somebody, the title is Wes Garbage Son. No offense to anyone who likes Asteroid City, but I can't for the life of me imagine how anyone could get even an ounce of entertainment from it. It is the definition of pretentious and one of the best examples of style over substance I have ever seen. I quit at Marvin. Did you write this review? I quit after 38 minutes. I almost never stop a movie, even terrible ones that I rate 1 star. But I determined that there was a 0% chance of gaining any enjoyment from watching the rest. I'm so relieved I didn't see this at the theater.
Damn.
I don't know that I've ever used pretentious to describe the writing or directing of a movie. Well, I'll use it in terms of a person, but like the actual writing or directing of a movie, I can't say. Like, you got to be a critic to say the directing was pretentious.
Well, I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to read a little blurb from this other one, and then I'll tell you why. This is a 1-star rating. A film based on Wes Anderson tropes. There was a long time, where a certain type of person enjoyed a Wes Anderson movie. They got it. They were in on it, and he seemed to make movies that existed solely for them, his kind of people. After watching this and French Dispatch, I have to ask, who is he making films for nowadays? Who are these directed at? Hollywood critics? The Oscars himself? I won't read any further. But Wes Anderson often gets a lot of criticism for being self-indulgent, and that he makes the movies this way because he enjoys it.
Yeah.
But it's just his fucking art style, dude.
That's it.
Exactly.
It's like, why else would somebody why would he make something he doesn't like making? Hey, Wes Anderson, you want to direct fucking Avengers 23? Like, what? No.
Right, what the fuck?
It's like saying Steven Spielberg's Jaws is not art.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a very stupid criticism. That's like, hey, bro, all your movies look like your movies. Like, yeah, they're my fucking movies, and I enjoy making them this way.
Right.
This is my artistic vision. So I don't know. That's a really stupid fucking criticism.
I mean, it's like
stupid.
looking at a Picasso and a Van Gogh and saying that these two look their styles are different. What is wrong with these assholes?
Here's another negative one. An homage to a genre at its pretentious best. A lot of pretentious being thrown around.
Yeah.
So anyway, 6.7 though. Majority of people seem to enjoy it. I fucking enjoyed it. I would give it a 7.5. How about you, Dusty?
Same.
Okay.
I give it the bump.
Marvin, I won't ask you to rate it because you didn't finish it, but based on what you watched, what would you give it?
Oh, 5.
It's fair.
That's fair.
I didn't watch enough.
Is it possible maybe you were not in the right headspace to watch this movie?
Maybe. It was Sunday night,
Like maybe you just weren't prepared for it,
Maybe, yeah.
Felt like work instead of just an experience.
Yes, for sure.
Sometimes movies feel like work.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll never not watch one. I'll watch it to the end and say it's shit.
Well, that's why I use the term headspace, because I can probably sit and finish Beau is Afraid, but I have to be in the right frame of mind to do it and to like kind of focus on it. That day, I was just not. I was like, I cannot deal with this movie right now. I just can't do it. And that's probably how Marvin felt.
Yeah.
Like
no,
tired on a
totally
Sunday,
fair.
like, listen, I'm fucking bored. I'm turning this shit off. But I would be interested
And I'm
if you
sure
go back.
our reviews reflect that too. Like sometimes we might have bumped or dropped a movie, but we were in the right headspace, so we did or didn't.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
But yeah, Marvin, I'd be interested if you do end up going back to watch it. I'd be curious to see what you think about it, because I think it all comes
does seem
together in the
interesting
end.
with more explanation.
Fucking Matt Dillon was in this movie too. He didn't explain. Like,
Right, yeah.
every fucking person on earth was in this movie. Matt
Totally
Dillon was the
forgot it.
mechanic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fucking
Got a whole new problem here.
yeah. A lot of actors.
What is that? I don't know.
Tilda Swinton was in it.
Yeah.
Chau was in it. We've talked about her plenty of times here on the podcast.
She's great, yeah.
Willem Dafoe was in it at one point. Like, Jesus Christ, this guy. See, like, that's it. You know, that's the mark of like a good filmmaker or an auteur filmmaker. There's not a lot of directors out there. It's probably like
I've got a movie. I got a part for you. It's 2 lines. Will you do it?
Yep.
And a big name actor will say absolutely.
And it's always the same actors. It's like Coen Brothers, Wes Anderson, and a couple more. It's like they're making a movie. Like, you bet your ass I'll be in it. Like, you want me to do it?
I respect you. I respect what you do. I don't care what my part is. I want to be in your movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he's
awesome.
for sure one of those guys.
Yeah.
But
which they all have their crowds. You know, like Scorsese has his crew. Anderson has his crew.
yeah.
Like the people they work with, and like even what's his name, Tarantino.
Yeah.
He's got his favorites.
And I will say, while I did enjoy the movie and I love all his movies, I'm not rushing out to a theater to watch a Wes Anderson movie. I'll say that. The days of going to like indie theaters to see one of these is over for me. I'll wait till they come out on fucking on streaming. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what what you folks in the audience think about it.
Yeah, let us know.
If you watched Asteroid City, let us know what you thought about it. Specifically, if you're not a Wes Anderson fan, I want to hear from you guys if you've watched it. I mean, I can't imagine many non-Wes Anderson fans are running out to watch this movie. It doesn't have that type of appeal, even from the trailer. Like, oh, I really want to see this movie. Like, it's just not that type of movie. But I'm sure there's some out there. So leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about it. You know, check us out on Twitter at HarshLangPod. We're on every platform where you could get your podcast, including YouTube. So do all the stuff that you like to do. If you enjoyed the video, give us a subscribe and join us next week. What are we watching next week? I forgot already. What did we say we're watching?
Clone Tyrone.
They clone Tyrone next week.
That's right.
Good
Yes.
one. I'm definitely finishing
Jamie
that one.
Foxx.
Jamie Foxx Netflix special. So join us then. But until then, we'll catch you. Thanks for listening, everybody.
See ya.
Asta.